Hello, and in this IELTS Speaking Part 1 video, we're going to look at the topic of watches. These are the kinds of questions the IELTS examiner might ask you. We'll go through the language, we'll go through the answers, and then we have a quiz at the end of the video to see what you can remember. Let's take a look. Generally. Another word meaning usually. More often than not, mainly, mostly, usually, generally, all great words for both speaking and writing. I don't have an issue with. An issue is a problem, so it's saying I don't have a problem with them, I just don't wear them. I just tend to use. I tend to use the verb tend to a lot because I tend to use it all the time when I'm speaking in English. Usually, I tend to use. Accurate. If something is accurate, it means it's the right time. So watches are not always accurate, but the clock on your phone is usually accurate. Do you like wearing watches? They're not something I generally wear, but I don't have an issue with them. I just tend to use my phone for the time. It's more accurate. A great way to say no in a stronger and more complex way. No, not in the slightest. Electronic device or gadget, great words for both IELTS writing and IELTS speaking to describe things like our phones, tablets, laptop, etc. So a gadget or a device, and you can also use electronic device or electronic gadget. Pointless, a waste of time, useless, pointless. Do you think a watch is important for you? No, not in the slightest. I'm always on an electronic device or gadget, and the time is shown on them, so having a watch is pointless. If I remember rightly. Often in IELTS speaking, you're trying to remember something, some details about when something happened. If I remember rightly. We can also use if my memory serves me right. And it's like saying if I remember correctly. If I remember rightly. Sentimental value. So this means it does not have a lot of monetary value, but it has a lot of value to you because of the feelings. Maybe somebody special gave it to you, like your grandmother. Sentimental value. Have you ever received a watch as a gift? If I remember rightly, I got one for my 8th or 9th birthday. I still have it somewhere because it has sentimental value, but I don't wear it. I'm guessing. Often in IELTS speaking, you want to say, I think. Try to use something different. I'm guessing. Status symbols. Fantastic phrase for both writing and speaking. A status symbol is something that shows you have money. Maybe it's a big house. Maybe it's a fast car. Maybe it's a Rolex watch. A status symbol. Flashy. They're things that are saying, look at me, but they don't particularly look good. They're showy, showing off, flashy. If I were a millionaire, I wouldn't wear. So great use of the second conditional here. If I were a millionaire, I wouldn't wear. A designer or luxury watch is an expensive one. So something like a Rolex watch, a Tag Heuer watch. These are designer luxury watches. Why do people like expensive watches? I'm guessing because they're status symbols. Personally, I find them a bit flashy. So even if I were a millionaire, I wouldn't wear a designer or luxury watch. Let's do the quiz now and see if you can remember these great words and phrases. How do we say useless? Pointless. If there's no point to something, it's useless. Pointless. Which phrase means if I remember correctly. If I remember rightly. If I remember rightly. What do we call something that shows you have money? A status symbol. A status symbol. How can we say the value of an object deriving from personal or emotional associations rather than material worth? Right, that is very complex. How do we say something has more value because of how you feel about it than how much it cost? Sentimental value. Sentimental value. How can we say to be showy in a tasteless way, not in a good way? Flashy. Flashy. How can we say a phone, tablet, laptop, etc.? An electronic gadget or device. Great for both writing and IELTS speaking. How can we say the right time? So watches are not always accurate. Accurate. How can we say no in a much stronger, complex way? No. Not in the slightest. Not in the slightest. How can we say I don't have a problem with? I don't have an issue with. An issue is a problem. I don't have an issue with. And finally, complete this sentence using the second conditional. If I were a millionaire, I would wear a designer or luxury watch. We use both if I were or if I was. Both are acceptable. If I were a millionaire.